One of the biggest things that I love about the business is the culture. You can't expect people to care as much as you do. It's your business, not their business. But my solution that I couldn't get out of my head was, if we gift them the business, they will care as much and they will be as invested and they will help us grow even faster. It's a sales job, but you're selling the most volatile product in the world. It's the only job where your product literally has a mind of its own. To do well in any business and recruitment, you do need that grit. You need resilience, is a word that we speak about a lot. Whenever it is tough, I think this is exactly what you signed up for.
Welcome to Beyond the Numbers. I'm Bev Wakefield, and this is the podcast where we take the stress out of business finance and break down the numbers in a way that actually makes sense. Today's guest is someone who took a risk on himself and built a business that now spans the globe. Scott Parson is the co-founder of Forsyth Barnes, one of the fastest growing recruitment firms in the UK. What started as a bold idea born in the back of a small office in London is now a multinational operation with a mission to change the face of executive recruitment. But Scott's story isn't just about scaling, it's about grit, leadership, and knowing who you are when everything's on the line. In this episode, we explore what it really takes to go from a startup chaos to sustainable growth, and how to lead with purpose when the stakes get bigger and the spotlight gets brighter. Hi, Scott, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. Been looking forward to it.
Shall we go all the way back to the beginning?
Yeah.
So, who was Scott before all this started, before Forsyth Barnes?
Right, all the way back. So I've always been entrepreneurial. I was the kid at school that was selling confectionery and drinks and that type of thing out of my backpack at school. I've always been ultra competitive, always been super sporty. Football, cricket, tennis, you name it, I'll play it. To varying levels of success, I'd say on that. Grew up in Nottingham, great parents, not entrepreneurial, but I think instilled like really good values and a really good work ethic. Went to university in Sheffield, and we now live between the two, between Nottingham and Sheffield. I spent about 10 years down in London, initially starting the business down in London, and then we've expanded now to London, Nottingham, New York, and Dubai as of the 1st of September.
Wow, Dubai as well. So where did this kind of, beyond selling like sweets and stuff out of your backpack, where did it then take you? So obviously you did London as well. So you started that. Was that quite young then when you started the London recruitment?
Yeah, so take you through the journey. So at university, third year, had to do a business plan, and probably got a little bit carried away with it. I was thinking, why am I just focusing on the academic side of this? I could be starting this business right now.
Nice.
So we did. So the February of my final year, we started a milkshake and smoothie bar in the student area of Sheffield in a place called Broom Hill. Coupled that with finishing my degree at the time, did really well. So as soon as I graduated in the May-June time, we opened up a second branch on West Street in Sheffield. We then exited that business somewhat prematurely, but 21-year-old excited kid just wanted to kind of move on and move to the big city and move down to London.
Yeah, okay.
Got into recruitment then, did pretty well at it, moved up into management, became one of the top performers in the business that I was working with. We then got acquired by James Caan from Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
Went to work with James directly for a period of time. Learned a lot about recruitment, business, management. And then it was the start of 2016, myself and my now business partner decided it's a great industry. I think it's a really meritocratic industry. It's a true industry where you do get out what you put in. And people can really change their life, and you can change the lives of the people that you're looking to place as well. But we thought we could do it better. So we started January 2016, just the two of us. We're still completely organically grown to this day, so no external funding or anything like that. We're pretty pleased with where we're up to, but we're always looking at the downside of we should be further along and we should be growing even more.
And where does that come from, that we should be further along?
I think it's that ultra competitive side again of always, it's probably the sport nature of always wanting to win, always wanting to be ahead and always wanting more for myself. And Rahil's the same, my business partner. I think it's the knowing what we're capable of and what the team's capable of as well. I think in the early days when it was just the two of us, we thought, we know we can grow a business to 5-10 people because we've done it for somebody else already.
Yeah.
It's then how do we develop beyond that? And we've been fortunate enough to hire some really great people in the business. And I now look at the management team and think, with this management team, how good they are, we should be further along. We should be even bigger. We should not just be opening in Dubai. We should be opening in LA, Florida, Miami over the course of the next year as well. So yeah, that's what really excites me about where we are at the minute as well.
Love that. So because you've got that kind of confidence in the team, it's then going, actually, we know we can do this.
100%.
So we should just be going faster.
Yeah, 100%.
So 10 years then, this year.
Yeah, 10-year party coming up at Christmas.
Oh, fantastic. What's been the hardest part, though, of starting the business and that journey for the last 10 years?
Okay, loads, I think.
Yeah.
So we didn't find the initial part particularly hard. I thought it was challenging and it was a lot of hard work. We both committed for that first year to do 7 day a week.
Okay.
So we'd work every day of the week. The only time we had off, Raheel played cricket in the summer on Saturdays and I played football in the winter on Saturdays. Was like the only time off, and we'd get back together on a Saturday evening and Saturday morning. My girlfriend at the time, now wife, would bring us food and drinks and snacks and that type of thing to keep us going. We didn't find that bit particularly hard. It was just a lot of work that went in. I think the challenging times came breaking through certain barriers of growth. So I think we got to 20 people. And then it was a case of the two of us can't run this anymore. We need to make sure we've got the right process in place, the right management, the right scale and structures in place.
Yeah.
And we hovered around that 20 people mark for a good 9 months or so until we kind of broke through it. And then we had a similar growth challenge at about 50 people.
Okay.
Where, again, we've brought in great advisors and we're, I think, very honest with, this is the biggest business we've grown, the biggest business we've worked in recruitment. So we're always looking for external help and external advice to kind of get us over that as well. COVID, I'd say, was a challenging time.
Yeah.
We did really well in COVID looking back through it. We set a budget in November 2019 before COVID was a thing that we went and surpassed in 2020.
Oh, wow.
Which Raheel's, more credit to him than me, stood up in front of the whole business at the time and said, we're going to have to work harder, we're going to have to knuckle down, but we are going to hit, we're not going to reduce targets, we're not going to lower back our expectations or our growth levels or anything like that. And I think everyone in the business, me included, thought he'd gone mad at the time. But I think it was that never say die attitude of like, we will achieve this even if we have to work harder to achieve it, got us there and got us over the line in 2020.
Wow. And I guess COVID years were probably years people weren't really I guess there were people looking for jobs because people had been laid off, but people that were comfortable in a role weren't really looking for that kind of next step because it was a little bit of unknown still at that time.
Yeah, there was so much uncertainty. I think like April, May, June 2020 was a really quiet period for us. So it was important that we caught it up when it got to like July type time. I do remember one week of thinking the world seemed like it was heading into COVID lockdown and everything that we now know. But we were still doing really well. And all of our key performance indicators were all heading and trending in the right direction. There was then a week where it seemed everything went and came crashing down in that week. And that was 70% of the live job requirements we were working on had vanished just within that week.
Yeah.
We had one client at the time, big global name that we work with, that said, because of the uncertainty, we can't pay you until August. This was like April type time, early April.
Wow.
And we had about 7 or 8 contractors on site. So we were still paying the contractors and we'd already given them 45-day payment terms, I think it was. And yeah, they were said they're not going to pay us for that amount of time. So we were really, really under the cosh from a cash flow perspective at that point.
How did you manage that?
Well, I think we'd always, I suppose, save for a rainy day is the wrong way to look at it. But we'd always been quite... although we were aggressive with our growth, we always keep like that rainy day type fund. So Raheel and I, since we started the business, we've always had a 6-month account where my background's in accounting and financial management at uni. We've always got a case of if we don't do another sale, there's no more income coming at all. Can we still pay all of our staff, pay all of our bills? Can we pay everything for a good 6 months? And that account's fluctuated from 6 months all the way up to like 15, 16 and advisors have said, we're not growing quick enough if it's gone up to that amount.
Yeah.
But I think that gave us a real good position in COVID where we didn't have to make any rash decisions. We could look after the team. We always want to be a people-first business, and we can actually do it because we had a bit more breathing space to be able to do so. I was discussing it recently, actually, of like back to the early years. I think I played Monopoly a lot as a kid. And I think, you know, when you get the £1,500 or dollars at the start,
Yeah.
I used to sit on one of the 500s. I'd spend everything else and invest everything else, but I'd sit on the 500. It's like, if I land on Mayfair or Park Lane,
You've got it covered.
that's the security, that's the insurance fund type thing. And I think that's what led to that type of thinking.
I love that. How young were you when you were saving the 500?
Probably like 6, 7, something like that.
Impressive.
Yeah. And my oldest boy, I can see him doing the same now. But yeah, I think he cheats more than me at Monopoly though.
That's probably a generation thing to a certain extent, isn't it? So lots of challenging moments in terms of especially, and I guess now for you is that growth side beyond, because you've kind of got to this size that, as you were saying, you've not worked in a business this side before, you've not ran one, but you're actually looking for that support of people around you that have done that to be able to take you to that kind of next level.
Yeah, been really useful.
Sometimes there is like this moment that shifts things. So it might be small to others, but for you, it probably possibly shifted everything. So a bit of a mindset, a bit of a decision, or perhaps a conversation. Have you had any of those turning points?
Yeah, I'm sure we have. Try and reflect on a couple. I think one, probably COVID time again, where when 70% of the clients did turn the tap off in that early April, I think it would have been really easy for us to really lower our standards of what we look for a partner and a client.
Yeah.
And because there was less work going around, there's less companies hiring at that time, I think it would have been easier for us to say, we'll work with anyone and like accept any kind of vacancy. But we actually lent in further to what we do and what we believe in. So we really lent in further to partnerships with clients. So we've got a really high bar for who we recruit for. And it's less so about their brand and how they're perceived in the external market. And it's more about the commitment to work to hire the role.
Right.
I think there's a lot of clients that will say, yeah, I'd love to recruit somebody like this and just send me some CVs and we'll see how we get on and we'll work it out as we go. And those are the ones from over time and over experience of doing things where tomorrow kind of never comes a lot of the time with those type of clients. So we really lean in with a partnership where we will commit a absolute ton of time to finding them the right people and to make sure that we do a really comprehensive vetting process for them. But we ask in return that they open their diaries to us, that they give us the interview availability for their diaries, that they line the second stakeholders up and the third stakeholders up so that we've got a clear defined process.
Nice.
So it gives a really great candidate experience because they know when the role's going to be hired, they know that people are committing their diaries to it rather than it getting stuck anywhere.
Yeah.
And the second thing that we also do is to make sure that all of the stakeholders involved in the hiring process, we get to have a conversation with. Because a lot of the time, I think it's a case of you'll speak to the one person hiring for the role, but then their boss may have a different opinion or may have a different take on what's good looks like.
Yeah.
So it's really important to get a really balanced look at kind of the whole business and the whole hierarchy who's involved in that hiring decision.
That's
So-
you must come quite embedded in that team then as well then, because you're known by multiple people.
100%. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've grown as we have, because we really invest in those relationships and the partnerships rather than, I suppose, the transactional nature of where quite a lot of recruitment businesses are. So that was one real turning point in COVID, I think. The second one that springs to mind more recently, Raheel and I went on a flight together in October to San Francisco for a conference. We'd invested a little bit in AI, but not a huge amount. But we really saw where I don't think that AI will replace people in the industry, because I think people still want that human connection. The element of storytelling, influence is massive for somebody's career choices. But how can we remove all the mundane administrative parts of the job that people don't really enjoy?
Yeah.
So we set out and we designed, this is more of like a whiteboard of paper on a flight whilst we were both sketching it up. But what we want the future of the business to look like and how tech and our AI plays a part in that.
Yeah.
we briefed a tech consultancy to go and launch the product for us, and it's gone so well that not only have we rolled it out within FB and it's had a great impact on FB, we've actually set it up as a separate business. Fantastic. And now Raheel is now permanently full-time on that business called Imagine AI, whilst I continue to kind of run and expand FB. So we've really lent into it, and it's going really, really well on that. So
amazing. That was going to be one of my questions, actually, because AI and recruitment is kind of quite a topical thing at the moment, isn't it, in terms of, because I know you get the horrible views of where AI's viewed someone's CV and kind of discounted them or something, whereas actually it's bridging the gap between it, isn't it? It doesn't need to be as simple as that.
100%. And I think that's where we've tried to build it, where it does a lot of the automation for you that won't involve bias or won't involve human decision making, but we still do the human decision making. Nice. I've heard so many horror stories of we run a concept in the business called The Table, which is championing females in leaderships, giving them a seat at the table. I've heard so many horror stories of AI because they've been programmed by certain people, that the AI itself has then got a bias to what good looks like for certain organisations. So I think those parts are really important to kind of keep that human touch on.
That's incredible. So there's clearly entrepreneurial. So we've gone from now setting up our own business at FB with your co-founder Rahul. You've gone into now doing the AI business as well. You've gone into, when was New York? Last year before?
New York, we launched July 2022.
2022, yeah, so, okay. Yeah, 2 years ago. You've obviously got other investments that you have got like interest in as well. So Lifted's one of those as well. Yes. Is there loads more to go?
No, I'm trying to limit it at that, to be honest. I'm the type of person that is always trying to take something else on. But amongst kind of coaching the kids' football team and trying to be a good dad, good husband, etc., trying to find time to fit it all in. But the guys at Lifted, who you mentioned, that's just, I wasn't going out looking for an investment. I just love the product. Yeah, okay. Love the product. It's a husband and wife founder team. They're brilliant. The product's brilliant. I just think it's so good that I just really wanted to get involved in it. Oh, I've gone from being the biggest customer advocate, I think, to now, it's going really, really well.
Because that's a great concept again, isn't it? So it's the only high protein, 0% lager on the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfectly. Should be on the advertising campaign.
Yeah, there we go. We'll do one of those after. So it's obviously something to get passionate about, because, again, recruitment and some of these industries are very known for kind of quite heavy drinking sometimes as well. And I guess when you're trying to balance multiple different roles, whether that's dad, husband and MD, sometimes the last thing you want is a heavy night as well. But
absolutely. And that was the kind of journey that led to Lifted, where I think as an industry, there is a lot of drink involved, right? Mm-hmm. You're often entertaining clients, there's team incentives, that type of thing. But for me, it was a case of, it was summer of 2022, similar to when we opened in New York, where it's that thing of being present at the weekend and really, really enjoying that time. And that's counterproductive to having a heavy night on a Friday night or drinks on a Thursday or something like that. So start drinking more non-alcoholic drinks, then start having a protein shake, and it was like perfect product to combine the two. You can have a beer, but there's no alcohol, just perfect after sport or going to the gym or anything like that. It's absolutely spot on.
Amazing. Has that been a challenge for you as well? Because it is hard. Like, you're scaling a business that's growing incredibly. You're now in different regions, trying to be then present at the weekend. That must have been a struggle over the last 10 years. Or you nailed it?
Yeah, I've definitely not nailed it. I don't think, I've never met anyone that has nailed it. I'm very fortunate where my wife's amazing, and we're very fortunate to have really good grandparents around to kind of support and help. And it's normally they're fighting over who can help rather than the other way around of like, no, you have them or anything like that. But it's exactly what you say, is that present bit for me, where during the week I am pretty full on, and there's many times I'm not home for bedtime, or I'm not dropping the kids off at school or anything like that, because especially with Dubai opening, you've got like 4 hours before the UK working day, and then New York finish at 10:30, 11, like UK time.
Wow.
And then we've still got some people that cover the West Coast in America, so it's another 3-hour time zone again. So there's a lot
That's a long day.
Yeah, there's a lot of always on kind of during the week. So I really try and make sure that as soon as Friday evening comes, it's shut off from work as much as possible. I'll still check my emails and WhatsApps and things like that. But the Saturdays and Sundays, I don't really have time for any work because it's all full with kids' football and parties and things like that anyway. So yeah, try and be as present as I can for those kind of 2.5 days at the weekend.
And what have you done in terms of, and I'm assuming it's team-wise, to help you take the pressure off Dubai being 4 hours ahead, and then you've got the UK, you've got 3 UK offices, or 2 UK offices, and then New York as well. How do you manage that so you don't kind of get bombarded by a huge amount of people?
Yeah, so it's back to that point of hiring great people.
Yeah.
So we've got a great leadership team. I think the best leadership team we've ever had as a business. So London, Nottingham and New York each has a managing director that kind of run and operate that office. Dubai is set up from one of our guys in Nottingham who's brilliant, was looking to move to Dubai. So it's really a case of backing him and trusting him and investing in him to go out and grow the Dubai office. So he'll be leading that. And then we've got an amazing global ops director. She's absolutely superb. We've got an amazing global director of people. She's brilliant. And we've got an amazing global FD as well. So we've got a superb leadership team. And then the management team that work with those guys are really, really strong as well. So I think it's more investing and trusting in great people.
In terms of when, like, you've looked back perhaps at some tactics or habits or decisions, what do you think's worked and helped you move that needle, and quite fast as well, for your business?
Good question. I think I see my role in kind of 2 ways. So it's one, focusing on the people side of things. And I mean that in kind of 3 prongs of the people that work for us, people as in the clients that we work with, and then the candidate piece as well. We've effectively got 3 customer bases to make sure that we're keeping happy. Big believer in Richard Branson's methodology of the customer's not always the one to come first, the customer's not always right. You look after your people and then they will look after the customers for you, which I'm a massive believer in. And then the second part is, I suppose, the accountant's hat, where we set our key performance indicators. We are very data focused. We'll always look at the data of absolutely everything and really try and slim down the noise and focus on the key performance indicators that really move the needle for us. And it's things like I mentioned the kind of job requirements that we take on, how committed they are is much more important than the quantity or volume of how many we have.
Nice.
We could have lots of clients and lots of job vacancies, but if we've not got that level of commitment, we won't be doing as well, kind of on the performance side.
You've done something really creative with your business as well, in the fact that actually you've given 1/3 of your business away to your team.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, was that part of this decision to back the team you've got, but also build that ethos of wanting them to feel really part of it and drive?
Absolutely. So really honestly, it was founded by the latter. We were having a conversation with one of our advisors years ago now, 2021, I think it was. And he said, you can't expect people to care as much as you do because it's your business, not their business. And I'm sure there's plenty of better solutions out there, but my solution that I couldn't get out of my head was, if we gift them the business, they will care as much and they will be as invested and they will help us grow even faster. And the whole plan that we put in place around that was to say, we're not just giving 33% of the business away for charitable donation or because we're really nice guys.
Yeah.
It was more a case of, if we really back our team, if we really give them equity in the business to own it, they're going to care more, they're going to be more invested, and we're going to grow faster than we would just myself and Raheel. And I put that down to, I mentioned that 50-person mark that we kind of got stuck at. I put that down as a really big factor in that, of how we grew beyond it and how we really attracted some amazing people.
Got you.
And retained some amazing people as well. We've got, like, one of our first ever employees is going to be celebrating his 10th anniversary shortly after we do. We've had guys and girls that are one from Nottingham, one from Mansfield, that have moved their lives over to New York to launch their New York office, that have now come back to great jobs in Nottingham with us. and are still with the business and still growing and thriving, and are real big equity holders within the business now as well for setting up New York and really driving it forwards. And it has really created that, like, we all care about FB and we all want FB to be the best place from a growth perspective, but also the best place to work as well. They're the ones that are often putting on the extracurriculars, the socials, the small bits that are massively important to make it a great place to work.
And recruitment is a hard industry, isn't it? It is a big hustle. Like you were saying, you were doing 7 days a week when you first started. They do refer to it a lot as a young person's game, don't they? Because it can be that real draining hustle, grit, determination type culture. Is that something that you feel there is and you've got within your team? Or are you kind of finding, because I know you do a lot with the team as well, so I know you do your kind of work events and everything like that.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you struck that balance, or do you think that's just something common in the recruitment industry?
I'd love to say we've got it loads easier than the rest of the industry, but we haven't.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's to do well in any business and recruitment, you do need that grit. You need resilience is a word that we speak about a lot.
Yeah.
You're often, I suppose it's a sales job, but you're selling the most volatile product in the world. It's the only job where your product literally has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
We often, when we're kind of taking on new people, say if you're in any other kind of sales, you've only got to convince one person to buy it. The car, the house, whatever it might be, doesn't have a choice of who they're kind of
so true.
buying the product.
Yeah.
And it's for recruitment, you've got both sides of that coin. Mm-hmm. And it can be challenging, and it can be, especially with working at the more senior end, the fee levels that we work at are big, but there's more of a risk reward factor with that, right? If somebody could put a lot of work into a search, get towards a 3-4 months end of the work,
it just disappears.
A candidate changes the mind, client, something comes up and a budget's pulled, it happens. So you do need that grit and that resilience. That's part of the reason that we do put on incentives, work events and everything like that, because it's one of the biggest things that I love about the business is the culture of, you've got to make it fun. Like with everything like that going on, you can get some bad news. I think quite a few people struggled when we had to work from home during COVID, because you're getting that news sat by yourself, and a lot of our people were in kind of flats and apartments and that type of thing, which is why I love us being in together as much as possible. As soon as you've got some bad news, there's your mate just round the corner, just ready to perk you up and just get you back fighting and ready for the next one.
Yeah, because I guess it is that being knocked down and kind of getting back up again. Oh, there you go. There's a song there, isn't there?
Great song.
Do you mind if we do a quick fire round? So we asked
Sounds
the
good.
same guest, not the same guest, say that every time. Every guest, the same 6 questions. So if you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Stay focused, I'd say. Stay focused on the prize. It's a good bit of advice. Is it's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think.
Oh, I like that. It's
Stay balanced, stay focused.
Never as good as you think, never as bad as you think. And is that still something, because I think you mentioned earlier that actually it can be quite easy to go off, and it's a bit of the magpie thing, isn't it? If there's something shiny over there, and, you know, I'm very guilty of it myself.
Same.
So I could proper resonate with that. Have you been able to take that advice yourself as well now?
Yes, on the I think the balance thing of not as good and not as bad. The magpie thing I still do struggle with.
Yeah.
And Rahil's really good at kind of checking on that, and so are the rest of the management team.
Yeah,
to be
nice.
fair. Like the
It's
sales
just a lot of
managing
accountability.
directors grabbed me about 6 weeks ago in an almost like intervention type way to say all these ideas are great, but it's too much. Like, can we just scale it down? And for this quarter, here's the 3 things that we should be focusing on.
Oh, that's incredible that
Brilliant.
you've got that.
Like, they've come together, they've gone for it. I said, cool, you've got my word. I won't speak about anything else other than these 3 things.
Even though they're niggling at me.
Yeah, but let's make sure that we really deliver really well on these 3 things that you guys have all agreed upon and set out.
That's amazing. So what's one belief, habit or rule that you wish you'd unlearned earlier?
I think removing limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
I think we all have them. From working class background, I think you have a limiting belief of what you can achieve and what you can go out and do. And for me, it's been a case of you've grown and you've done this, and then you go, right, okay, maybe I can do a little bit more. And then you grow and you think, oh, maybe I can do a little bit more. And then you think, maybe I can do a little bit more. spoke about Rahil a lot, but Rahil, my business partner, he's never had that. Like, he's always got that, we are going to be a huge 9-figure turnover business, global brand, global offices around the world. That is where we're heading. It's a case of when, not if.
Yes.
Type thing. And I think that's been really useful for me. I think it's really good advice for everyone of just don't limit your beliefs. I think, especially with having kids now as well, they should be thinking, what can I be? What can I achieve? What can I go out and do? Rather than, oh, I can't do that, or things like that don't happen to people like me. And those type of thoughts I don't think are really useful. So I think removing the limiting beliefs is the big one. I wish I'd have learned earlier.
I mean, you've done pretty damn well, even with that as a as a belief for a while. What's the best investment that you've ever made of money, time, or energy?
Got to say lifted.
Yeah.
Love it. Even if I just drink all the product myself.
You're the biggest customer.
Yeah.
Not for long.
I think on time and energy, probably the pivot from working on myself and working on the business.
Yeah.
Where I think early years of running the business, I don't think we did that. I think it was more of a focus of how do we get to the next stage? We need to grow as the business. We're taking a step back for kind of self-development and how can I be better? I struggle with that phrase of kind of putting your own seatbelt on first because you're wanting to help everyone else out. But when I feel like if I'll just have a half day away, just focusing what do I need to achieve and what do I need to focus on and reprioritization, I feel the business then benefits as well. So I think that investing your time and energy in yourself and looking on the business rather than in the business.
When did you start doing that then? So in the 10-year period, when do you feel like you actually started to nail that? Because that's something that people struggle doing, like a CEO day or whatever you want to call it. People really struggle with that.
Yeah, I did as well. So far too late, probably around year 4. Yeah. It probably took as long as that. And then that led to, I need to get a CEO coach. We need to get a board advisor. We had our first chairperson was a lady called Tara Ricks, who's absolutely brilliant and helped us massively, both in terms of running the business, but also both as kind of CEO coaches as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and then trying to learn from as many people around us as possible.
Yeah, you've clearly done that as you've gone, and you've not been afraid to kind of reach out and go, actually, this is where I know I can get to. I also want other people's specialist advice now to help me get to that next bit. And there's a lot in that as well sometimes, isn't there, of saying, I don't just need to do this by myself. I don't need to know that I've got all the answers. I can ask the specialist for help. Yeah,
exactly. I think it's removing that ego on yourself to think no person can do everything, right? And there's things you'll be really good at, there's things that you're not so good at. Like, ask for people around, and don't just ask in terms of advisors upwards. There's so many people in our business that help, and our performance coach, for example, today gave me some advice on a message that I sent out to the whole business, and she said, I don't think that's going to land. I would position it in this way.
Nice.
And it's great that we've got that, I suppose, open culture where she can come to me and say, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, this is the way that message will deliver better. And she's right as well on the advice that
shines through amazingly, though. So not only will you take the advice from the specialists, and I know your team is still specialists in what they do, but you are happy to still go, no, you know what? And that's putting the ego to one side again, like you said, isn't it? Where you've gone, I'm happy for the team to tell me. I'm happy for the team to say, no, focus on 3 things.
100%. You just want the best for the team, the business and everything. So if somebody's giving you that feedback, if it's for the best for the team and the business, 100% I stand aside and make sure we focus on that.
Nice. I've mentioned, we've spoken about this before. When did you invest in your FD? Because someone's asked me this as a question, because a lot of the time you'll look at a business, now clearly you did accounting and business at degree level anyway, so you got that knowledge that I want a buffer, I want that kind of side of things. But I know you had a trusted accountancy firm that you used to work with, and they got to the point where they went, you need an FD now. Correct. What year was that?
It was 1st of April 2022, James started. So many advisors have told us that when you hire for your FD, you might burn through them quite quickly. Very fortunate with hiring James. He's been, I never call him James, I call him Murph. So James Murphy, but he's been exceptional for us. 3 years with the business. He's been absolutely superb. But it was actually, you're right, it was the accountancy that we were working with at the time that came to us to say, we've loved working with you, but we think you've outgrown us. And you're the way that your numbers and trajectory are focusing on, you're going to break through the audit barrier for next year.
Yeah.
So you need to bring finance in-house, somebody to face off with the auditors and everything there. And that prompted us to go out and start a search to find James, and I'm delighted that we have. He's been brilliant.
Oh, that's great. And did you invest in that accountancy firm from the start as well? Did you, or was that something that you brought in at a later point?
They came in start of 2019,
Yeah, okay.
I think. So we had a good 3-year period with them. They're like recruitment specific, recruitment specialists, outsourced accountancy, husband and wife team. Yeah.
No, that's perfect, because a lot of people will say, well, when should I invest in my finance? When should I get an FD? And it's quite nice to then go, well, this is what FB did.
We brought James in as a finance manager at first. It was, you need to bring in somebody in from a finance perspective, but they didn't say necessarily you need an FD.
Right.
We brought James in with the view of hopefully he'll grow into that, and he's grown and then some, and kind of really progressed and developed himself, but also progressed and developed with the growth of the business.
Right now, what does success look like to you?
Growth is the word that I always come back to. I'm a big believer within the business of, I listened to Dave Brailsford, the Teams guy. Listened to something he was talking about the other day where he was saying, focus on the pedals, not on the podium.
Nice.
And that was his big advice to the British cycling team. Everybody was visualising standing on that podium, which is great. But right now, be present, focus on getting those pedals round as fast as possible, which I'm a believer of in the business at the minute. The goals are important, but the kind of everyday focusing on the pedals, I think, is really important. We've got, I suppose, what does success look like? So I'll separate the 3 businesses. So FB has a goal, big, ambitious goal to float on the stock market.
Nice.
Of which we are really open about and have is part of the equity driver, where we talk about how far we are away from that. And Murph has a huge Excel spreadsheet of kind of working out all the forecasting to make sure that we're on track for that, and then communicating it within the business.
Amazing.
The second one is Imagine AI to get to 100 users by the end of this year. And then the third one is Lifted for 2025. We want to win one huge stockist for 2025, which is too soon to confirm, but we've made some really good progress on over the last week, so I'm pretty excited about that one.
Amazing. So it feels pretty successful at the moment, all in the right direction. Who's one unsung hero who's shaped your journey?
Great question. I've mentioned Raheel a lot. So he's brilliant. I suppose yin and yang of like, whenever he's down, I'll bring him up. Whenever I'm down, he'll bring me up. I think having the right co-founder is one of, if not the most important decisions that you make. And he's been absolutely brilliant. My wife keeps me grounded, is absolutely brilliant, and will demand that I'm present with the kids as well, which is exactly what I need and is really good. My parents mentioned. I'm sure there's loads more as well.
They
like
clearly taught you well at Monopoly as well, and had a significant.
They never let me win,
on.
I can say that.
Yeah, but there's something in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
And that's it. You're right. A lot of the time, a journey, there'll be loads of people that's perhaps shaped it, but it's quite nice. Sometimes some of those are unsung, aren't they? So it's
Yeah, it's a good question.
And what's the one line you say to yourself when things get tough?
And
I know you said that, it's never as good as you think, it's never as bad as you think, which is a pretty powerful one in that instance still. But
I think I'm going to use another phrase. It's going to sound like a cliche, but if it were easy, everyone would be doing it. Yeah. Which we say a lot to the people within the business as well, of like, we do work in a tough job. The rewards, the progression, the growth and everything that comes with it are amazing, but it doesn't come for free. It's not a lottery ticket win when you join the business. It comes with a lot of hard work, and if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And I think it's exactly the same about any entrepreneurs as well. I've got massive respect for anybody who's an entrepreneur. Whenever it is tough, I think this is exactly what you signed up for. Like, you didn't sit there and just think, oh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like so easy and everything. You know what you're getting yourself into in the most part, right?
Yeah.
And you make that conscious decision to do it. So this is exactly what you signed up for. You knew this would be the life. You can either resist it or you can embrace it and think it's a challenge. How do I overcome this challenge? How do I get even better?
That's a great way of framing it, isn't it, as well? Because when things do get tough, it's almost going, well, it's a challenge, and actually, how do I overcome it?
Yeah.
Rather than just perhaps seeing it as that block, which we can do sometimes.
Yeah.
So if you did put one of those on every business owner's office wall, and I do want to put them on this
Nice.
backdrop at some point, what would that motto be?
I'll probably go with that same one. That if it was easy, I think everyone would be doing it.
Yeah.
I think I've only got one thing on the office wall at home, and it's Rudyard Kipling's "If."
Yeah, nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really fitting.
That's a proper powerful one. So one final thought then. If someone could take just one line from this conversation we've had today, what would you want it to be?
If it's for the entrepreneurs out there, I'd say people are your greatest strength. Like, invest in your people and not just invest in them from salary. Don't just invest in them to hire them. Like, look after them. And I heard a great phrase the other day that said, the grass is greenest where you water it.
Nice.
And I think that's spot on for looking after your team.
That's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's spot on.
Wow. I mean, from what a journey of exceptional growth from being entrepreneurial from the time when you were a child to that laser kind of focus, but also inquisitive and curious enough about other things and other areas to dive into, to really seeking advice and support from the specialists, but also listening to your team, to having that people-focused culture and overcoming like any limiting belief. What a journey you've had. It's been amazing to talk to you, Scott. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I've loved it.
Amazing. Thank you.